everyone. Welcome to this teaser video for the MEF Connects Rich Communications virtual event. To remind you, the event takes place over 3 days from September 29th to October the 1st. And today I'm delighted to be joined by John Duffy, who's IMImobile's Head of Global RCS. John, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to dive into a pretty big topic, which is chatbot discovery in RCS. The exciting thing about RCS is that you can have two-way conversations with brands, and quite often you're going to be doing that with bots rather than humans. And so this raises the idea that we can have an entirely new way of interacting with brands, which is beyond the native app or the website, and is preferable to making phone calls and so on. So then that raises the question, how do we actually find these chatbots in the first place? So John, if we can assume RCS brand chatbots are going to be the future of brand customer care, how will customers find them?
Well, I do like that assumption because I honestly believe it is the future. And I'm also a big believer that what we're going to see from operators around the world are chatbot directories that will be embedded into the messaging client on most devices. And I think that in the next few years, that will become kind of the standard, right? Just the same way we adapted to apps and websites before that. Chatbots, the directories that they're in, and chatbots also embedded in our contacts will be sort of the way we start conversations with brands, with publishers, with content providers, the same way we navigate to a website today.
So let's walk through that. So I'm a customer and I go onto my RCS app and I feel like I want to speak to a big retail brand or whatever. How do I do that?
Well, today in the United States, we have a couple of pilots running with carriers here. And the way it works today is you're on your Samsung device, you open the messaging client, and just like you've always had, you've got your contacts and your conversations. Well, now you've got a third tab for chatbots. And that tab is a directory. And, brands, content providers that are participating in these pilots today have their logos and their chatbots ready to go to be tapped on, start the conversation with their consumers.
Okay, so how does a brand get listed on a directory like that?
Well, today, it's been, like I said, these are pilots, and so they've been highly controlled. We're learning about the experience. We're learning what consumers want. And so it's been mostly outreach by companies like ours, talking to our customers and saying, hey, we've got a partnership with an operator, with a handset provider. We'd like to put your chatbot in this directory and use it as a tool to help you access those subscribers, and also as a tool to learn together about how to make the experience the best it can be. These pilots have been running now for 2 years, and we've learned a lot, and I think we're about ready to start scaling. And so much the way that you would get a short code here in the United States, start a messaging program anywhere in the world, you'll talk to your provider like an IMImobile, or you'll talk to your operator like a Vodafone, get the instructions on how to load your chatbot into those directories and get to work.
Will that process be kind of standardized? Can you see a situation where no matter what handset or operator you're working with, it's pretty much the same process, or will intermediaries like IMI need to come in and resolve some of those issues?
So, I have fairly strong opinions about that because I've been involved in most of the pilots that are running, but I think we're still a couple of years away from a real standard experience. I think we'll make a lot of progress here in the fourth quarter of this year and really build some momentum next year. But 2022 is when it will become kind of a de facto. So I use the metaphor of the early online systems to describe what I feel the process is right now. So, I'm old enough to remember when you could get onto AOL or you could get onto CompuServe. You had these sort of silos of online activity. And then in 1994, the World Wide Web came out and sort of changed everything. I feel we're going through another one of those cycles right now. And we've been running these silos, these pilots for the past couple of years that are very operator specific. I think in the next year or two, like I said, we'll get to a more World Wide Web type experience.
Do you think that the public will need guiding towards this, or do you think there'll just be an organic process where they they're kind of using these apps a lot. They're looking for their contacts. They'll find brands and so on.
Again, I have really strong opinions, and I hope I'm right, but I think it's going to be organic. I don't think it'll be quite the same as it was for the app stores back in 2008 and 2009, where companies like Apple and Google really promoted the discovery. You know, we all remember the slogan, "There's an app for that," right? It was terrific. Apple taught us how to use those programs. I don't think we'll see the same level of effort. I think it will be much more organic. And frankly, I think that's good for us because we've got a lot of work to do to make sure we keep the experience, you know, terrific for consumers.
And obviously, search has been pretty good to Google. You could say the world's biggest company, yeah. So, will there be a way to monetize these menus and listings?
You know, so I think about communication channels over time. So if you do a little history lesson with me, if you think about radio, television, the internet, right? These were all terrific communication mechanisms decades before they were businesses. And they became big businesses when there was an ad-supported business model. And I think we're going to see that here in messaging with RCS and with carrier directories here in the next few years, where you know, the content providers, the publishers, the people that create all the traffic on the internet will finally have a channel they can use in messaging, particularly with RCS, because of all of the capabilities, you know, the content, the video, the touchscreen capabilities, and now advertising-based business models. I think messaging is about to become a very, very big business.
What about chatbot discovery in other rich channels? You know, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, and so on. Will there be a way for brands to for that to be simple for brands to cover all those bases?
Well, you know, I think so. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm a bit biased towards RCS because I like the standard. And what I believe is that the sort of customers and prospects that we're talking to today, you know, their experience with those other channels hasn't been so terrific. You know, they'll invest time, money, resources to build an audience, and then an algorithm change takes that audience away. You know, we like standards. We like things like the World Wide Web. We like things like RCS because it creates a one-to-one connection between that brand, that content provider with their consumer. And our channel, operators, device manufacturers, you know, we're not Facebook, we're not Snapchat, we're not these other companies that are looking to exploit that relationship. We're looking to facilitate that connection. And I think because of that, we have a better, more ubiquitous, more trusted channel that's going to win the day at the end.
So you've touched on this several times, but could you summarize the role of intermediaries like IMI in this new universe?
Well, you know, the technology is fairly complex and sophisticated. It requires tools and expertise to make it easy, right? That's always been our mission here at IMI and 3C before that. You know, make it easy to connect with your consumer. And so we've built the tools and the software to make that experience between our customer and their consumer really awesome, right? And not require a lot of software development, not have to worry about release cycles, things of that nature. You know, build tools that make the conversation configurable by anybody. And so there's a great spot for us to exist in the future. Like I said, making it easy to get that connection going, get that conversation happening.
Does that imply that these kinds of chatbot discovery listings and menus will be available to every kind of business? One thinks at the moment of the bigger businesses in there, but would there be a place on there for, you know, neighborhood businesses and that kind of thing, the way that they use Google?
Well, again, you know, I'm going back to my experience, you know, when the World Wide Web was first commercialized. You know, in 1992 and 1993, I was working for an operator, and my job was to pre-sell internet capabilities to our customers. And we were only selling or trying to sell to the very largest enterprise. And really quickly, right, as the World Wide Web launched, it became easier and easier and easier to build a website host that website. And it was just a terrific experience for everyone because we didn't know what we were doing. And all of a sudden there was all these new capabilities. I have a lot of fun from time to time doing a little demo where I go into something called the Wayback Machine. And we take a look at snapshots of websites, of our favorite brands back in 94, 95. And it's amazing to remember what we thought was cool back then. And then, creative people, advertising agencies, content creators, they got a hold of this technology and they really showed us how to enjoy it. I'm waiting to see what they do with our channel, with RCS. I think it's going to be magnificent. I think if we make the tools accessible and as inexpensive as possible, then everyone will get to participate in this new channel. Big business, small business, consumers, all the people my daughters like to watch online, right? We really want to bring them all in.
Well, it's very exciting to be at the beginning of what could be a transformational new channel. And it's interesting to chat to you today about it. And we'll look forward to hearing more from you about this at the Rich Communications event in a couple of weeks.
You certainly will. It's my favorite topic. And thanks for having me today.